Okay, hello everyone. Just gonna get some photos playing in the background here, something to watch while I ramble on. Right guys, I've got the chat up here. Let me just check who's coming in before we get started today. I've got a little presentation again for you guys. It's nothing too... Well, it's a scattershot of a lot of things. I'm going to go through some emails that people have sent me, some bit of information which is fun to share, I think, and also I'm going to have a little bit of a discussion about some of the photos I've found from really old photos, vintage photos, we could call them, of clowns from the earlier 20th century, maybe even some from the late 19th century, and you'll find that they are just so disturbing. So incredibly creepy to observe and look at that. It boggles the mind from our perspective today to consider what people saw in them exactly that made them think, yeah, you know what? Kids would love this. It doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. There's nothing about the image of these. As you'll see, I'll show you some photos, but there's nothing appealing about these. The way these people dressed as these clowns in the past, that makes me think that children would have fun with that. And I've got a couple of articles I want to read, which I thought were interesting and quite pertinent to this idea that people in the past just I don't know, they viewed the clown very differently from us in a way that is deep rooted in their psyche and in a weird and twisted way. And you'll see as time goes on. Let me just check the chat here, see what's going on. So I've got 16 viewers currently, that's great. We're just going to get the chat up. I've got it. I've decided to pop the chat out. I didn't realise I could do this, but on my dashboard on YouTube in Studio, I can pop the chat out of a separate window and have it visible at all times from my point of view. So I am going to be doing that. So hopefully, if the sound cuts out for any reason, immediately let me know in the chat, and I should see it this time. Okay, I'll be checking it and glancing over my eyes repeatedly as I chat today, just to make sure we don't have a similar issue as we had last week, because I ended up talking to the air for 25 minutes before I realised the sound had gone out. So we do not want to repeat that. So let me know, guys. I'm banking on you, these 21 people who are currently here who heard that message. I'm banking on you to let me know if the sound cuts out at any moment. If I've not seen it in the chat, message me on Telegram, email me at understandingconspiracy.com, let me know. Because, yeah, I don't want to be talking to the air again. Right, guys. All is well on my end, says Philip. Great to see you, humble stranger. Thanks for being here. We've got Felina, just started. Thanks for being here. Crystal Blue, thank you. We have just started, yep. And like I said, I'm going to give a bit of a presentation soon. I've got a few things I want to share with you guys, a few images I've compiled. Yeah, we're going to have a bit of fun with this show. This is the 33rd episode, and if you're a conspiracy theorist like myself, you understand the number 33 is a big deal. So I think it's funny that for the 33rd show, we're just going to have some fun. Okay, again, you'll learn something today. You'll think about a few things you probably never thought about before. But this isn't going to be a deep presentation today about something out there in the world that I've found, which is about a secret culture or a folk tradition. This is just about clowns in general and how freaky I think they are, and how freaky you guys think they are as well. Because recently I made a post. I frequently post things in the community tab on my channel, and you guys always give me some great reactions. And I shared some images I'd found of clowns, vintage clown images, and they're actually remastered images, and you'll see them on screen soon. I'll share them with you. But these, yeah, V more, 33 episode, yeah. But these images of clowns were basically remastered from older photos, and you look at these images, and you just think to yourself, like, oh my God, what were these people thinking? What were they thinking? Like, and they paraded them out in front of children, you know. These were icons for children to see, and it's kind of... I pose the question, were these people... Well, are they just stupid? Are they mentally scarred, or are they just evil? Like, what's going on with these people? You know what I mean? What made them think? What was going through their minds? thinking this was a good look, that this was acceptable for little children to look at, and the reactions from children, you can get photos of them just screaming in absolute terror at the sight of these things, and everyone in the comments section shared their stories with it as well, and everyone seemed to agree from my hypothetical question that the answer was people were just stupid and maybe a little bit evil. People back then were a different breed of human, just viewed the world in a completely different way, and yeah, we'll get into that today. So we've got Holy Spirit here. John is Dove, Dove is Jove, which is Scottish Owl. Okay, that's a long thing. I'm not going to read that, but thanks for sharing. We've got Pamela, thanks for being here. Vimo, great to see you. Pretty good audio today. Yeah, I've worked on the audio. I have mastered the microphone. I've played with levels, and hopefully this should be loud and clear and on point and shouldn't spike unnecessarily either. I think I've made this microphone useful, very useful. It was a good microphone to begin with, but I've just been plugging in and going in the past, and it's had varying results of sound quality, but this should be good now, hopefully. Craig, thanks for being here. Got Crystal Blue. Look at the T blank NS movement. They are terrifying clowns paraded in front of kids. Exactly. That's the modern day version of what was going on in the past for circuses, I believe. We always have fun. Some of the info is scary, but it's still fun to learn. That's right, Crystal. I do try. I try and bring a bit of levity to this because it is terrifying, but we've got to have a laugh. We have to have some fun with this. Otherwise, we'd all just curl up in the fetal position and cry, no doubt. Okay. That's what I was thinking too, lol. The 33rd episode. That's right, guys. Illuminati confirmed, as they used to say. Do kids still say that anymore? Is that a millennial thing? Is that old? Is it old-fashioned to say that now? Illuminati confirmed. It probably is, isn't it? That's probably too old school for us. I'm showing my age now. Right, guys. Cool. Right, we've got 27 people here. That's enough for me. I'm gonna deep dive into this, and I'm gonna share with you some images that I have been compiling. I've been working today making this thing bigger. As you can see on screen there, there's some images from my last episode, which went through some Spanish folk festivals, which yeah, they were trippy. But other than that, let's move off this. So I'm just going to stop this slideshow. I'm working on transitions as well. I'm hoping it looks pretty slick with the way I'm doing this. So we're gonna. Nope, that wasn't slick at all. But let's just restart this slideshow. Here we go. So these are some. This is a mix. What you're going to see on the screen here of just vintage posters advertising old circus shows, photographs of old circus performers, and just just generally showing what the makeup styles used to be like back in the day, a long time ago. And I think the latest this goes up to is probably the 60s or 70s, maybe the 80s. But the majority of these photos you find are from like 100 years ago. We're talking, the 1920s, the 1910s, the 1930s, 40s, even a bit earlier than that, even like some of the late 1800s. That's what some of these depictions of the clowns come from. And just look at these things on screen now, for example. Look at the top left and the bottom right one. Let's pull that back, Look at this. The one at the top left and the one at the bottom right. What a viciously disgusting, evil-looking grin these things have. It looks purely demonic. Like, you cannot look at these and not tell me that's a demon. Look at this child screaming with absolute terror at this hideous ghoul that has her in his grips with his wide, toothy, disgusting grin and his deadpan black eyes, And she's in horror at the sight of this thing just grinning at her, and it's I mean, there's definitely some kind of like fedopile vibe to this, you know what I mean? I can't say the word because I'll get banned, but you know what I mean. There's something creepy about this. I mean, look at these things. Absolutely hideous. And these were to entertain children. You know, people like coming up with excuses of what the clown was for in the circus. Ignorant people haven't got a clue what they're actually talking about. Say, oh, the clown was there to bring a bit of much needed levity between the acts of the performers who performed death-defying feats that brought people to the edge of their seats in terrifying scenes. Then the clown would come out and lighten the mood, you know. And it's like, these things lighten the bloody mood. Are you kidding me? Look at them. If these things just suddenly burst out of like the rafters and started coming down the steps next to me, I'd jump out of my seat. I'd be like, Jesus Christ, where did that come from? You know, look at these things. Monsters. And these were just normal. This one's funny. I use this for my my thumbnail. Look at the bottom left. Look at that demonic grin. Human beings don't have that many teeth. Right? That is not human. And look at the extremely tall brow ridge they put on this one in the bottom left corner here. Just to elongate the skull, you know, to give it that Nephilim-esque elongation. And it's got the serpentine reptilian frill around its neck. And it's got the this one in the middle here as this serpentine polka dot reptilian pattern. I mean, look at these guys. If I saw these two staring at me from across the room, I would run for the hills. Because do these look like they're up to any good? Do these guys look funny to you? Is this funny? This guy's got a cone on his head. This guy's clearly been out on the town, you know. What a mess. What an absolute mess. I mean, look at this thing. You know, and it seems silly looking now, but you look at this and it's kind of like... Who came? Well, we know who came up with it. You know, it was Charles Bloody Dibdin and the Freemasons who invented this image of a clown, and you can see what they were trying to do now. You can just see it. Look at the slits in the eyes, like a reptilian, like a reptile. These big, wide, grin mouth slits around the side of the mouth thing, elongating the jaw. You know, these sharp, smooth, snake-like features. These bald heads. You know, with this weird, wild, erratic bird-like hair just sticking out of weird places, you know, looking like monsters and ghouls. Look at the giant ears on this one on the left. This one looks like an ogre of some kind, doesn't it? Look at these. Look at this one right here at the bottom. It looks like I don't know, is it supposed to be a scarecrow? It's got hay everywhere. Is that what it's going for? Whatever it is, it's a monster. It's a pure and simple, full stop. That is a demon, if I've ever seen one. And you look at these posters from Barnum and Bailey's circus, right? Have you noticed that clown is a enormous giant next to the tent surrounded with tiny little people? Have you noticed that? His shadow is even engulfing the tent. And is that not a nod and a wink from the Freemasons who put on this show? All the Barnum and Bailey, you know, all of them were Freemasons. All the Ringling Bros were Freemasons. Freemasonry invented this image of this hideous demon, the Nephilim, you know, and here they are showing you, yeah, it's a giant too. They were giants in the earth in those days, and they look like clowns. And they're laughing at you with it. It's a big joke to them, and you'll come and pay them, you know, to venerate the demons along with them in the bizarre shows. Look at this thing. Look at this guy. Right, I would not let him near my child. You can just tell this guy is yeah, stay away. No, just look at him. What a mess. And speaking of children, it looks like they got the children involved as well, which is just disturbing. I mean, look at this outfit. So bizarre. I've noticed this one, they've given him like a panda-like, bear-like face makeup, like a hybrid human-animal type look. Look at this one. Look at the way they painted the mouth on this. It's just this wide, toothy, unhuman, unnatural grin. I've got Pat there saying, as I said in the previous comments, I liked Bozo growing up. Well, Pat, you are weird. I think I've told you that already. You're the odd one out. You need to explain to me what the appeal was, please. In the comments right now, you explain to me why you thought it was fun or funny. And then go back to the screen. I just want to pull that last image up there. So look at this guy as well. How creepy is that? Like, there's something about a fully grown adult man dressing like a colourful baby in a onesie. That's what it is. These are men dressing like babies. You do realise that that's exactly what the clown is. It's a fully grown... This is an balding, obese man dressing like a little baby. You know, that is twisted and disturbing on so many levels. Look at these guys. They're even like arching their feet in at the bottom like they're an innocent little child, and it's just, oh, it makes me shudder. There's something weird about this. And it just doesn't make any sense on the surface until you start really scratching under, you know. I mean, look at this advertisement here. This middle one's got a real Nosferatu look about him, like a vampire. Which is, again, what a vampire is. A vampire is another representation of Nephilim. Pale white skin, cannibalistic blood drinkers, you know. These are vampires too. Think of the Subliminal, which I mentioned in one of my other videos, a Romanian wizard. They are also akin to the vampires of the same area of Transylvania. That's what they are. They're said to be the same things. And that's, you know, that's where we get it from. So these are vampires dressed in colourful clothing, basically, is what a clown is too, if you want to get a little bit more folksy about it. Disturbing. I mean, look at this. This looks like something that's come from the pits of hell, with like flamed scars coming out from its mouth and its eyes, you know? Laughing. What's so funny? Why is it laughing so much? Like, I don't know. Here it is, another screaming child, 2 screaming children, and the mother's like, oh, it's okay, look, it's just a clown, it's a bit of fun, and this child's like, get me there, please, get me away, he's gonna kill me, please, no, and the mum's like, no, it's okay, and this child is clearly saying, mother, it is not okay, stop this, please, get me away. look at the feet on this clown. I notice it's wearing shoes that are literally giant feet. Not in a wink there to the fact that these things are representing the giants of the past. It's right there. You know, but these children are screaming for their parents to please pay attention to us and remove us from the presence of this being. We are being mentally scarred because of your poor decisions. This is literally what these children are screaming here. And they're just being ignored. No wonder that generation is just utterly scarred beyond belief. Look at these things. Look at these monsters. What is that on their head? You know, they look like otherworldly beings, don't they? They look like some kind of strange monster you'd see in the fractal matrix while inhaling DMT vapors. Look at this undead ghoul. You know, this is a Halloween costume for a child. I don't know, it looks like one, doesn't it? Fiona noted that other guy had his arms in the as above, so below pose. That's a point, yeah. Here's some of the recreated images. These are the remastered ones from older. They may have been black and white originally, and someone's added colour to them. But just look at these. Look at this twisted thing. I mean, we're assuming the face paint was black. I mean, look at that. This one's got like an animalistic thing going on, like some like it's a human-animal hybrid of some kind, a bear maybe, a dog. I don't know. Look at this thing. Look at that smile. Does that look? I don't know. It looks wrong to me. Something about that just looks off. So off. Look at the large head as well. They're trying to imitate here. The large cranium, the elongated skull of the Nephilim. Look at this thing. There's something off-putting about people in makeup like this as well. The wild, crazy red hair really comes through on these drawings, on these images. This one's blinking, and the paint he's put on his eyelids makes his eyes glow blue. And funnily enough, that is said to be a feature of the Nephilim. They were known as the glowing ones. They had glowing blue eyes in some cultures who described them. You know, they had not just like the eyes, the pupil was blue. I mean, it was all just blue and glowing. They had no whites, you know, it was just blue eyes, glowing bright. Because they were divine, they were semi-divine beings. They had angel blood going through them, you know. They weren't just humans, these weren't just big people. And, you know, they had these psychedelic colours and crazy frill light patterns and feathers coming off of them in all directions. You know, they were wild, insane, a full assault on the senses type of being, you know. Let's look at these old representations. These would have been the original Freemasons, you know, who were a part of this whole thing. And look at the elongated skull on this one. This is quite a famous one, which we'll discuss a little bit more in detail when it comes up in a minute. But this one's hideous. Like, look at the cone head on that. You know, and again, cone heads, the whole film. It was definitely nodding a wink to this whole situation. And that one's just hideous as well. This one got me. Look at this thing. This is just... What is that supposed to be? That's supposed to be cute and funny and silly, is it? That's silly. It looks like a human being who's had their skin peeled off their face. That's what it looks like. It looks like a human who's had all of their skin removed, flayed away, and what you see underneath is the muscle and sinew and bone that's left behind, with this garish, horrible grin like it enjoyed the pain and misery. This looks like a Cenobite from Hellraiser. This looks like something that dwells within the pits of hell, you know, and loves the pain, gets pleasure in the pain, and would love to see you in pain too and get more pleasure from that. You know, this looks like it. This is a monster. This is a literal monster. Okay, and somehow during that era, people were like, "Oh, how funny! oh, darling, get the children. Oh, they'd love to see this." I mean, what were they thinking? Can someone please explain to me what they were thinking back then? What was going through their mind? Were they just really bored and thought scaring children would be a laugh? Is that what was going on? Like, I need to know what is going on. In the comments here, I've got Wyo Dino saying, kids react the same to Santa Claus, and that's a point. You know, Satan's claws there in his big red suit, his black, in his satanic colours, his black, red and white, you know, sat there on a golden throne, elevating himself into the position of God, the all-omnipotent, all-seeing being that all children should fear retribution from, you know, acting as a god, and children just scream in fear at this beast, you know, on a throne. And yeah, no, I'm not surprised. And plus, the whole kids growing up realizing they've been lied to their entire life by the people they trusted is just a terrible reason to lie to your children about Santa Claus. Anyway, what else have we got? Morgan Jade says, I think it's the same kind of dynamic as when a new discovery jumps populations, even without any contact. When the idea time has come, it's here. That's interesting. What's that in response to? I must have missed the first part of that. But I've heard that before. They did a test with a crossword puzzle, didn't they? And they released the answers into one area, and then next thing you know, everyone got all the answers suddenly, everywhere else all over the earth when they released the information, which I thought was quite funny. What else we got in the chat here? Look, vintage creepy. Creeps, everyone's creeped out, yep. Weirder now looking back, knowing they were displaying a demonic spirit. It certainly is. Flashing the V, yep. Got Fiona saying she was creeped out by Santa as a child too. Everyone's saying it's cringeworthy here by Brian. We've got So Scary by John. Thanks for being here, John. Thanks for being here, Brian. Craig says, Santa is very similar in appearance to these also. Clowny vibes, it's a freak show. Yeah. Santa was always watching us, says Fiona. This is seriously creepy. Morgan Jade says, I made it for another live, yep. Again, Pat saying, you know, she liked Bozo the Clown. Pat, I'm still waiting for you to explain to me why that was the case. What have we got? I knew he was just a guy dressed up trying to make kids happy. That's all I knew. Okay, so throwing your hands in the air saying, hey, all I knew was it was just some dude in a costume. Fair enough. If you crossed your eyes when you see any of these photos, they lose a bit of humanity on them. The true form, maybe. Yeah, I get what you're saying there. I just quickly did that with this one, and it's all I see is the white and red, and it's just creepy. I'll keep this playing in the background while I'm speaking, while I'm looking through the chat here. Look at the feet. Yeah, the feet in that photo, definitely. Look at this TV show here. Look at this. Oh, just look at that clown on that television. It looks like it's about to come through the screen and pull that child into his bizarre realm. And, you know, it looks like he's seen some food and he's like, yep, I'll have that. And he's about to just pull that poor child through the screen, screaming, you know, and says, you're coming with me now, child, like into my world. And he's about to be dragged into the underworld. And that kid, it looks like he's happy, but I think it looks like he's actually screaming, to be honest, when you actually reinterpret it. But, wow. Advertising a colour TV with a colourful clown. Interesting, right? Interesting. There's a lot behind that. Blue Bloods, we've got Winter Change saying here. They look like the all-drive panel vans. You know what I'm saying. You get it. Demonic for sure, says Brian. Okay, what have we got here? We've got we parents trying to desensitize us so we learn not to show fear in later life? Or did they just get a laugh out of it? I don't know, Fiona. I don't know. I just think people were stupid, personally. I would like to assume stupidity before malevolence. I really would. And I think people were just idiots and thought it was funny that their children were scared. Kind of like, oh, look at them scared. Not realizing they were kind of like mentally scarring them and giving them nightmares for the rest of their life. I think people were just idiots. I really do think that's what it came down to. Obviously not the people who created all of these images and the thing we call a clown. They're not idiots. They knew what they were doing. But I think the parents who encouraged it were just stupid. I'm gonna put it down to just plain old, good old-fashioned stupidity. As in the days of Noah, so shall the end times be, getting everyone ready for the Nephilim to return. It could be. It could be. There's a lot of clown symbolism everywhere these days, especially over the last decade. Clown on screen totally has that Biden smile. I know what you're saying. I don't think the parents had a clue what was really going on back then. And if they did, sad. That's right, Craig. It looks like his nose is ripped off. It does look like his nose has been ripped off, doesn't it? It looks like somebody who's had their skin peeled back. It's just wrong. Right. Always so much symbolism hidden in plain sight. That's right. Since I wasn't afraid of clowns when I grow up, I guess I'll be on the front lines when they come back. That's right, Pat. We need people like you. We certainly do. I like your attitude. Got more people coming into the chat here speaking. I'm going to let this keep playing while I read through these. Absolutely shut down, disconnected, and led step by step into this materialistic, mechanical, and brutalistic realm. They really believe the story about what they are doing. That's right, they did. A lot of people just didn't pay any attention, did they? The parents were and are brainwashed, absolutely. Look at this one with its frog mouth. This one's weird, isn't it? Look at his eyes bulging out as well. It's a relatively tame-looking clown, but still eerie nonetheless. Like a human-animal hybrid. This one looks like one of the animals you'd see on the totem poles of the First Nations in Canada along the West Coast. No, yes, the West Coast. Look at this one. I don't know, it looks like he's, I don't know, has some kind of indigestion problem. I don't know what's going on with this guy. He's in a weird position. This one looks like he's about to eat you alive. This one really looks reptilian with the polka dots on the end of the frill around its neck, the ruffle. There seems to be more to the lines around the eyes than just eyelashes, crosses and stars. I don't know, I think it's to give that radiating look to the eyes as well as imitating a reptilian slit to the eye. The blue face paint you often see covering the whole eyebrow ridge, I think is supposed to represent the entire huge eyes that these things had. The face paint of a clown is to exaggerate everything. a huge bulbous red nose, a wide, huge toothy grin, an enormous, wide, high brow ridge for the enormous glowing eyes, and the very long foreheads. You know, everything's just an exaggeration with the face makeup, because they're representing the Nephilim as they were the reptilian human hybrids when they were around. You know, everything about a clown is a caricatured exaggeration of a reptilian human hybrid. That's basically it. And the Freemasons who invented this, Charles Dibdin and all of his cult, knew full well what they were doing when they adopted this image into their ranks. It's just their way of openly worshipping, venerating, and evoking demons into the world without people realizing it's happening right in front of them. That's what they do. You know, they have to perform their rituals where they summon these things, and they need to do it in places out in the open regularly in order to maintain power and control. And what better way to do it than put on a circus and have everyone join in and make the ritual stronger? But the people who pay to go see the circus don't know that's what's happening. You know, just the people who invented the clown do. And now I'm sure there are plenty of circuses out there that do it completely unaware of its true intentions and sources 100%, but they're still performing a summoning ritual by dressing like demons to evoke them into the physical realm. They just don't know it. The people who made the circus and the people watching the circus don't know it anymore. That's the genius behind inventing something like this, maybe 200 years ago, exactly during the 1800s. 1800 was the year it happened, when the costume change was made to the Harlequinades, and the clown began to look like this. Yeah, they knew what they were doing. They're not stupid. Let's go back to the chat here. Let's let this play a bit more. Howdy, finally caught a live stream. What are your thoughts on Conspiracy Aura's take on the Nephilim clown theory? I suspect he used your research, seeing his videos only 10 minutes each, says TrueSeeker777. Conspiracy Aura's picked up my work 5 years after I had to go quiet, and he basically revived the whole concept in people's minds. His videos have done very well. His production quality is a lot better than mine, and his videos are a lot shorter, so I think they are, like I said, a lot more palatable for people. And yeah, I'm on good terms with him. I'm thankful for what he did. And I just do my thing and he does his. He's very much into the whole Tartarian old world stuff as well, isn't he? So, he focuses on that. I do what I do, and yeah, that's Conspiracy Auras. But yeah, he definitely brought a lot more people to the idea. Parents should have known the moment child screamed and cried when being sat on Satan meant Santa. I mean Santa, that's right, yeah. I did like Insane Clown Posse, says Pat, growing up. They claimed not to be religious, but used religion sometimes, like in the Great Carnival. Yeah, those guys were a whole other thing. Don't get me started on them now. Have you done any research on the Veracruz of the Andes Mountains? Funnily enough, I have not yet, but I do think I have just discovered an image of them from the rock carvings, and I am planning on doing more research into it soon to make a video about it. But not yet. I haven't got enough to say on that yet to make it but looking at videos, I have just come across them. Maybe you may have come across similar posts I have. Maybe they've just discovered them or something. I don't know. Paul, if you get the chance, look up the band. Guar fits right in with all this. Okay, I will look into it. Exaggerated, yep. Look at these two, by the way, on the screen. They're creepy, aren't they? Something really dodgy about them too. I don't know what it is. Whoops, I've restarted the thing by accident. Let me just pull all these back. More screaming children, more creepy looks. Yeah, the old artwork is just really disturbing, isn't it? Because they're even more uncanny when you consider that these are drawings. They're not quite human enough as it is. But this one looks crazy. Look at his hair. Look at his hair. This one's really bizarre. Went for the Harlequin original design from the Harlequinades as well, mixed in with it. This one's ruffle really looks like a reptilian frill. Here we've got a bunch of grotesque demons together. large and small. I got the stilts in the background there. Creepy. Look at these. There was so much paraphernalia around as well relating to the clowns. More than just the clowns themselves. There were like dolls and porcelain figures, and anything clown related was also made around that period. There's some stuff actually I want to share. Maybe I'll save it for next week. But I will go through some of the glass clown figurines that were really popular in the 60s from Italy. They're really disturbing. But look at this clown on this. I think this is a Italian clown, or I think this might be a Finnish clown or a Scandinavian clown of some kind, Tivoli. But here's Lou Jacobs, and I found this little article here. It's just an image. I don't have any more than what was written on this image, but it says here, my life changed forever the day I first saw Lou Jacobs. I had never been to a circus until that momentous afternoon in San Antonio in 1974. And suddenly, there he was, this big, strapping clown, right smack in the front of my seat. He seemed enormous, over 6 feet tall and built like a bulldogging cowboy. Working with a tiny, bug-eyed dog, he dressed up to look like a miniature elephant, made him, by comparison, seem even larger than he was. So here we have Lou Jacobs, who would look like a giant in the eyes of this person, and did everything he could to make himself look as big as possible in comparison to everything else around him. What caught my eye too was his smile, wide as a prairie mud puddle. He wore a red rubber ball nose, and perched atop his pointy cone head was a tiny fedora, because, this person's a giant, right? And his head is enormous compared to a normal-sized human hat. It's all there. Then it goes on to say, watching Lou perform that afternoon was an epiphany for me. I was a 20-year-old daughter of a Texas cowboy and a school teacher, and this was the funniest person I'd ever met. He taught me one of life's most valuable lessons, blah, 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 glorification of a demon-worshipping cult leader or something. I don't know what this is. Clearly, some people enjoyed it. But I just think the description in this is so bizarre. It's just constantly going on and on and on about how enormous and giant he looked. He looked like a giant, and it's just tongue-in-cheek references constantly to the Nephilim everywhere. Excuse me. Right. I'm going to quickly go to the chat here. Let's see what's going on. Right, so I was going to scroll up here. It's kind of a little bit ahead of me. I know about the red balloon symbology, but is there something more to the balloons, maybe alluding to orbs, disembodied spirits, perhaps? Perhaps. I forget what the red balloon symbol is. Now you've mentioned it. If you clarify for me that, Craig, I don't want to speak on things I don't know about. I think people thought dressing up like these demons was a good idea because they were so removed from being in touch with themselves, others, the natural world at large. That's one theory, sure. Just as good as any other theory, I don't know. The parents are not brainwashed. Parents should have known the moment the child screamed, absolutely. So the Viricocas of the Andes Mountains, looking at glass, is saying it said they are possible Nephilim descendants of fallen angels. Well, yeah, they sound like they fit right in. I'll definitely be looking into them now you've mentioned it to me. Thank you. But again, it's nothing new. Doesn't matter what culture you choose or what area of the earth you decide to point at and zoom in on and examine. You will find that these beings touched every corner of the earth and have impacted the traditions of every corner of the earth. And they don't call it clowns everywhere else, they have their own way of describing it. Violent J from Insane Clown Posse said he got the idea for Insane Clown Posse from a spirit that visited him, from a carnival or something. Yeah, I've heard that story before. We stopped celebrating Christmas due to all the paganism, origins of the tree, etc. December 25th is Nimrod's birthday, not our Saviour's Yeshua. Interesting. The Twisted Metal movie is supposed to come out in July 2023. Wicked clowns in that. Yes, one of the drivers was a clown, I remember, with like fire for hair or something. I've heard Santa is based on Odin, who was likely a Nephilim. That's true. Yeah, I've heard that before too. But Santa is an amalgam of all sorts of things. In Finland, I think it was, and Scandinavian areas, the druids, or the spirit people, the wise men of the area, the shamans, they would collect mushroom caps, the mushrooms from the floor, and they would put them into the trees around them to dry as they picked the mushrooms, and then they would put the mushrooms in their sack, and then they would go from yurt to yurt down the chimney, because the chimney was the only way in and out of these homes once the snow came, and he would sell the people these psychedelic mushrooms. The people would then dry these mushrooms in socks over the fireplace before eating them. I've heard that story too. And Santa Claus is loosely based on that too, that shaman. It's also amalgamation of plenty of other things as well. Plenty of other traditions all mashed together. But that's one of them. That's certainly one of them. My gut says reptilian Freemasons and the Jewish religion are connected, but I can't seem to connect the dots. Reptilian Freemasons and the Jewish religion are connected, but I can't seem to make the dots. I'm not here to get into that today, but you're probably right. Yeah, there's probably something going on there. The circus would come to town, summon a bunch of demons, and then leave them there to cause chaos. Basically, yeah, it seems like that's what was going on. That's right, Fiona, yeah. Killer Clowns from Outer Space, best movie in this genre, Fallen Angels, Aliens. Yeah, obviously it's a little bit obvious to say Killer Clowns from Outer Space now. No offense, Ride the Liger, but it's kind of played out to say that. I've heard it 1,000 times. But it's still valid to bring up because the symbolism in that is on point. I think there's a famous quote where someone asked the director of that film, why do the aliens look like clowns? And the director says, no. Clowns look like them. And that's exactly what I'm trying to say, Why did the Nephilim look like clowns? It's like, no. Clowns dress up to look like the Nephilim, That's what I'm actually saying. But just like the director of that film understood, clowns look like Nephilim doesn't roll off the tongue or sound as catchy as the Nephilim look like clowns. So I guess I'm playing the same game as he was, but I just thought it was interesting that he would say that, But it definitely, they're not from outer space though; they're just from another dimension now, technically, in reality. Conspiracy Hours is how I found this channel. I'm so grateful. That's good to hear. Thank you. I'm grateful. You're grateful. Tivoli is in Copenhagen, Denmark. Okay, yeah, so it's still Scandinavian area, but yeah, Denmark. That's right. Thanks for letting me know. Is Copenhagen Denmark? Or is it Sweden? I'm losing track. Sorry, my ignorance is showing through there. I don't know. Either way, it's some kind of Scandinavian clown. Susan has donated $20. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. She says thank you. That's very generous of you. I appreciate that so much. There's a song about the red balloons. 99 red balloons. I've heard that song, yeah. Santa Shroom origin story. Quite trippy. Yeah, it's an old one, that story. You should look into it. It's a very old story. Good afternoon from the San Francisco coast, says Susan. Good afternoon to you. Isn't it amazing what this internet does, how many people it brings together from so many different places? It's quite impressive when you stop to think about it for a moment. Anyway, guys, I've shown you a quick presentation there of all the old trippy clowns as they roll on through there. Something else I want to quickly move on to is someone told me to look at a show called Glow Up. A UK channel called BBC Three, and it's basically a competition to do with makeup artists. So I'm gonna get it on the screen here now. Here we go. And just at a cursory glance, looking at these images of the contestants and what they're doing, as you can see for yourself right here, it's basically who can make themselves look the most like a demon. That's basically all this entire show is a competition as to who can make the best demon face out of makeup. And there's some really trippy, clownish looking stuff in this. I mean, look at the red and white one here on the far right of this image, you know. Really, really psychedelic. Look at this one. You know, and there's something very clownish and Nephilim-esque about all of these. And this is a mainstream, in the 4th season competition on television, in mainstream British television, you know. And it's just there in your face. And I just can't help thinking back to the fallen angels came down to earth and they taught human women the art, well, human beings the art of makeup, you know. And I think there was more to it. There was far more to it than just making yourself look pretty, you know, and to attract a mate. I don't think that's what that was really all about when they taught mankind the art of painting the body, you know, and making themselves look a certain way. I think it was more akin to this whole dressing like and looking like something physically to evoke them spiritually. I think it was all about demon worship and spirit worship. I think that's what a lot of this was really for, this whole makeup situation mentioned in the Book of Enoch. And that's what I mean. Someone says here, you know, the minds that produced this, egad, says Susan. She's right, you know. All the contestants are just literally making themselves look as demonic as possible. I mean, look at this one. Now this, funnily enough, the one on the left you see there, I know where she's got her inspiration from, because I've already mentioned this in my own work, but it's from Taiwan, or Thailand, and it's from this image here on screen. They dress like this to venerate their ancestor spirits, particularly famous generals who died from the past. Here's another example here. And this is their own ancestor worship veneration ritual, folk tradition in Thailand. And this is how they make their face up to be, to imitate the spirits on the other side. And very clownish, very psychedelic, black and white with red, you know. And that's what this woman here has done in this mainstream British TV show. She's done the same thing, you know. And that must have been where she got her inspiration from. And if she didn't, then the coincidence cannot be ignored, because maybe she has indirectly evoked the same spirit without realizing it. But I think she realizes what she's doing here. No, the similarities between that and that are just far too on the nose for it not to be the case. But if it wasn't the case, I haven't even watched the show, so I don't even know. I'm just guessing. But I can see demon veneration when it's in my face, you know, especially with all this research I do. But yeah, I thought it was interesting that look was shown here on this TV show. Let's keep going through some of these other looks they had. Got like 20 images to get through here. Look at this one. These people are winning shows for making themselves look like this. Like, if that isn't an Ishtar demon, I don't know what is, you know, a female Kali goddess, bull cult goddess with a ring around the nose of Baal, something or other. It's just a mashup of all sorts of demonic nonsense. Look at the state of that. No, and this, look at them. This one's definitely a human bird reptile hybrid, with the feathers and the reptilian coloured skin made up to make the eyes look enormous. If she closed her eyes, look how large that red would be her glowing eye. I'm guessing they're saying they're trying to make it look like a moth or something, but no, this is a human animal hybrid. And these are the type of things that existed on the earth just before the flood. When God said all flesh became corrupted, all man had corrupted his flesh upon the earth. They had partaken in the mixing of kinds with kinds. You know, they were mixing animals together and then mixing themselves with animal hybrid DNA. And this is what you get. You get stuff like this, you know. And here we are again, glorifying it once more. And you can't help but just think of that whole, as it was in the days of Noah. You know, look at this human-animal hybrid that was made up on this TV show. This is a tiger mixed with a bird, mixed with a reptile, mixed with a leopard, mixed with, God knows what. Just all sorts of nonsense mashed together. And this is a competition. Who can look like the biggest demon? And I'm sure that's not what they say once in the entire show. It's all hidden under irony and nuance, but, well, I say nuance, there's not much nuance behind this, but look at the state of that. Another one here, look at this. A perfect dragon human, a reptile human mix with the reptilian eyes. This, young impressionable people watch this and think, "Oh, that's so cool! I wish I could do that," And it's, it's if dressing like a clown is a veneration of demons and evokes demons, if all these folk traditions around the world who venerate their ancestor spirits and spirits on the other side of the veil dress like them to bring them here, then what is this really doing? It's teaching people to use their makeup to make themselves look like beasts and animals which actually existed once and are now disembodied, and people just are ignorant of that. That's what's going on, but it can't be ignored. That's another example. Look at this one here on the far left. It's like some kind of a human mechanical hybrid monster beast thing. I don't know what's going on there. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's incorporating someone who had a disability who needed this breathing apparatus into the show for inclusivity. I don't know what they were thinking or what they were doing. But look at the clownish fractal being in the middle there as well. And then we've got the Taiwanese inspired demon, general demon there. Go finalists, the best looks, Look at this thing. What the hell is even that? I don't even know. What is that on his cheek? I wouldn't like to hazard a guess. But it's just a mess, isn't it, guys? It's just an absolute mess. Here we are. Look at this one. He really leaned heavily into the clown aesthetic. I swear I saw Wes Borland painting his face something like this. The guitarist for Limp Bizkit I've shared already on this channel. But he often dresses up like what you see here on the screen. I assume to evoke the same spirits. Probably where he gets his talent from. Here we are, more trippy, weird, disturbing, multicolored fractal pattern beings. More examples here. Who can look most like a demonic ghoul? That seems to what this competition really is. Messed up. And look at this one. Just a human-animal hybrid. Just a human being with goat horns, or bull horns, or whatever kind of horn you want. Some kind of lizard horn, dragon horns, whatever. There's a human being with an enormous wide mouth, like a giant, let's say, who wants to eat you. Who knows? This one's really disturbing, though. You go, make yourself look like a blue-skinned ghoul. And here's another one as well, a psychedelic, trippy, reptilian lizard hybrid thing, whatever, or a fish hybrid thing, kind of like maybe something like a siren here, I don't know. And just to top it off, here's another example from the scene from the show where they're sorting themselves out, Let's get as far away from human as we possibly can. I don't know many green-haired humans, do you? Yeah, so I thought that was worth sharing with you guys. I'll just let that keep going through. I'll just check the chat, see what the opinions are on this one. But it's just an example of the mainstream media showing this type of stuff, cashing in on it while influencing young minds. What have we got? So Ronald McDonald is the epitome of the clown show. Even known that McDonald's used human flesh in their meat products. I've heard that one before. Yeah, that one's dark. Everyone's like, creepy, scary, whoa. The minds that produced this push so hard in your face it's almost impossible for most to see. They taught men the art of makeup. They just taught all humanity the art of makeup, didn't they? Yeah, but again, I don't think it was just to make themselves look pretty. I think it was the art of using skin manipulation with colour to evoke spirits. I think that's the whole point. It's the witchcraft behind makeup, the literal witchcraft, the summoning rituals that makeup are involved with, I think is what they were being taught. As well, it's both. They taught women to use makeup, yeah. Very likely demonically possessed. Demonic sigils in the makeup, yep, absolutely. A lot of sigil magic involved in this. Talk about people deciding to go vegan. They are bloodlines, graphene oxide demon. Hexatron88 says, hey, some dude told me that Jesus Christ was a shape-shifting chicken snake god. What is that about? I don't know. I don't know what that was about, but they're wrong. They're all like that on RuPaul's Drag Race program. It's horrific. I've only seen the adverts. I don't watch television anymore since about 4 years. Pride goeth before the fall. Yeah. There was a makeup artist named Kevin O'Coin. He specialised in transforming the looks to different eras. Flapper girls, current actresses turned into 30s and 40s actresses, gobsmacking. It's amazing what people can actually do with makeup. Yeah, I'll admit it's impressive, but it's all the art of deception at the end of the day, isn't it? That's what it comes under. And pride and vanity as well. And again, ritualistic witchcraft, technically, can be used for the invocation of spirits too. So it's certainly a powerful tool not to be played with ignorantly. A lot of them do that naked paint where it looks like they're wearing clothes but are actually naked. It's all about bloodlines. I know much about it, since the family is directly descended of the most hated bloodline by this ruling cult on Earth, and chosen enemy by then, the royal houses of Stuarts. Okay, you lost me there, Mark. But it sounds like you have a lot of information to share. Is a Venus flytrap on his face? I don't know what that other thing was that you're talking about. I don't know what was on his face. And this, I think it's this image you were going off, isn't it? Give me a second. Maybe that one at the top there. Or this thing here. I don't know what's on this person's face. I honestly haven't got a clue what I'm looking at, but it's disturbing nonetheless. They look like Q-tips all mashed together. So are the Smurfs. That's a good example of blue-skinned things, yeah. Avatars are blue, that's right. Not demonic at all, that's right. Luciferians seem to feel emboldened. Makes the roundup easier. That's a point. Yeah. And they're all giving their honour to their cult masters with this pagan practice, that's right. Talented, but what a waste, and serving a very evil master. That's true, Desert Trance. Okay, Mark, I don't know what you're talking about there with the true Christ being Charles Stuart the First, but I'm going to put you in a timeout until you stop saying that, because that's just a load of nonsense, and you're kind of spamming from what I can see. Hairy cheek dude. Oh, that one. I thought it looked like he had some kind of ball sack on his face or something like that. But let me have a look what's going on there. You say it's a Venus flytrap, do you? Yeah, that's a funny looking Venus flytrap. I have had Venus flytraps in my day as houseplants. I wouldn't call that a Venus flytrap. I think my first assumption is closer to being correct, to be honest. But I don't know. Define makeup, identifying terms and definitions and working off the same understanding can be a make or break. Makeup. Well, makeup can be considered a commodity that is sold with the sole purpose of changing your appearance or improving your appearance. That could be the one definition of makeup. I think the very act of putting any colour or pigment onto your flesh in any way, shape or form to change its image is using the art of makeup. But any medium can be used to do that. But either way, doing so, you are playing with practices used by folk traditions, which is to purposefully venerate ancestor spirits. So they would paint themselves up or make themselves up to look like specific spirits. Just because we in the West do it and don't realise we're doing that doesn't mean we aren't taking part in the same ritualistic pagan practice. Is that defined clear enough for you? I mean, I think I was pretty clear about what I was actually saying, so your comment's a little bit facetious, I feel. But there you go. If it wasn't clear what I meant, then I've made it clear for you. Just remembered something. The cartoon show The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. I used to watch that. Yeah. Billy has a crippling fear of clowns. He calls them evil. Yeah, I remember. Maybe the creators were hinting to the kids. Yeah, perhaps. Hiding one's identity is an eyes wide shut sort of thing. There is that too. Yeah. There's something dangerous as well about, you see it all the time, but when people wear a mask, hide their identity, become anonymous, let's say, they act in ways they wouldn't normally. Almost as though they've been possessed by a particular spirit, you could say, but it's also as though their inhibitions are gone and they feel emboldened to act in a way they wouldn't ordinarily act due to the anonymity. Putting on a mask is no innocent act, I would say. You need to be careful about it. Drunk Wedding Photographer says, looks like a sack. It's a sack. It is, isn't it? It is. That's what's going on here. Okay. Let's get off that anyway. It's not pleasant to look at. Just a bit more fun for you guys here, by the way. But I follow this group on Facebook. It's called Cursed AI. Okay. And there's this one person on there who keeps posting images he's made using Midjourney. And he keeps using prompts like, clowns hunting for food in their natural habitat or stuff like that, you know, and he's come up with some hideous imagery of clowns hunting for food. And although the Nephilim wouldn't have been wearing these silly clown costumes you see in these images, and they wouldn't have looked quite literally like a clown as you see here necessarily, could you imagine in the past seeing the face of one of these things just bellowing towards you with this look in its eye, this crazed, bloodthirsty, wild look in its eye, about to tear you to pieces? And bear in mind, you're looking at this thing and it's actually like, you know, it's like 16 foot tall, pounding the ground with its enormous feet and causing earthquakes as it just pelts towards you at full speed with this look in its face like you see here. Could you imagine that? Ignore the silly Ronald McDonald outfit. But look at this one. This one makes me laugh. If you saw that thing running towards you with crazy wild feathers sticking out, a hairy weird body with reptilian smooth psychedelic colours everywhere, and this white gaunt horrible face with this look of just insanity in behind the eyes, just pelting at you, about to tear you to pieces, how would you react? You know, because that's what people had to deal with. That's how terrifying things truly were, you know. And I just thought it was funny that this person, who has nothing to do with me, probably has never seen my work. Maybe he has, I don't know. But he's making these AI images for this Facebook group using the clown hunting for its prey as like the prompt. And some of the stuff that is found here, as you can see, it's just funny. It's funny in an absolutely terrifying way. And I thought it's definitely worth sharing with you guys, just so you can see. It's very realistic, isn't it? I know. Yeah, VMore, it's extremely realistic. Fiona, by the way, thank you for the donation. I really appreciate that. That's amazing. Yeah, I really appreciate that. That's great. Episode 33 and one to grow on. That's right. I suppose it's a special occasion, isn't it? Number 33. Just disclaimer, no, I am not affiliated with any secret society. I am not a member of any particular degree within Freemasonry. It is a joke, because we are talking about conspiracy theories, and that's one of the big ones. But yeah, it is episode 33, so there you go. And maybe I should stop this at like 1 hour 33 or something, or 3 hours 33, just to really get there, you know. Well, I say one of the images had an extra finger too. I remember that. I saw that myself. I'll pause it on this one, but this is one I came across, and I don't know what the prompt was, but none of this is real. These aren't real people, okay? This is all AI generated. The bookstore, the shelves, everything is AI generated. And the person who posted this says, I think I've found a cryptid, like an AI cryptid. Like, I don't know why, but this strange pale-faced hat man figure has appeared behind these people in my AI prompt, and I never asked for this. And look at this thing in the background that's kind of like just menacingly looming over these characters in the front. Like that's the Hat Man, isn't it? That's the Hat Man entity. And I find it interesting that he's being depicted here with his tall Freemason top hat, you know, the Grandmaster's top hat, with the gaunt, white, clownish face, or like vampiric-like face with a beard like Lincoln, I think. But we were in this multicolored, funky clown-like suit as well. Like, and the guy who posted this is like, I did not prompt for this to appear. This has just randomly appeared in the image I created. I think he said famous person X stood with these other two famous people. And this happened. I think it's just fun to point out. It fits in with what I'm talking about. We have an AI cryptid here. I wonder if this has cropped up anywhere else randomly for other people. But AI cryptids are an interesting one. I think you may have all heard of Loab. It's the woman who keeps appearing in all these images randomly. Yeah. But this is the Hat Man. I thought that was quite fun. Definitely, again, worth sharing with you guys. Anyway, we've hit the hour mark. I've pretty much shown you all the images I had to play with, so sort of finished with these AI ones. But I've also come across a couple of articles which I want to share with you guys. I've got a couple of emails as well that people have shared with me, which I really think is worth. I think you'll get something out of it. So let me just quickly get these ready to share. So the first one is from a regular viewer. She goes by the name of Lady K. And she sent me an email. And I'll read it out to you first. I'll just let some images play in the background, and I'll share the screen to share the images with you. I just want to try and avoid, obviously, getting her name and email in this. But just bear with me 1 second while I set this up. So I'll just get some background images playing while I'm chatting away, just from because I do have just a random background thing that goes off while I'm talking. There we go. It's just showing random culture in the background and random images from other cultures. So what you're seeing on screen will be relatively unrelated to what I'm saying right now. But I'm just going to read this email someone sent to me. So she says, just for the fun of it, I know you did a video a while back on the sun's circus, or the Cirque du Soleil. And they can't help themselves but packed their shows with non-stop symbolisms. But I wanted to share some pictures I took at work, since we are currently printing/making the orders for the 53-inch trailers of their new show, Echo. So this person works making the prints for the new show, basically. So even at work, I can't get away from the clowns. Ha 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 ha. I took some pictures of my screen. Sorry for the bad quality. Of the purple and red one. The purple design was dropped because of a backlash coming from online folks on their site. It was too obvious that it was satanic in nature. Purple colour, goat in the front. So I'll show you guys these images in a minute. And they changed the design for the red one that's even creepier. I couldn't take a nice picture of it since we are currently printing it and the vinyl is rolled and drying. The blue one, with the red-haired girl holding a cube, is just way crazier than the purple goat from my point of view. It's a giant Nephilim looking right at you. One of my co-workers went and saw the show. She showed me some videos of it, and God knows I could never participate or pay money for this entertainment. Animal spirits making the music, dancing, doing the as above so below in a cube, two girls attached by their hair, the main character dancing in the hand of a giant, red top hat entity. Everything was there for the public to enjoy. It's just insane. Unfortunately, I couldn't really talk about all this with her. Her response to the cancellation of the purple was, "It's stupid to even think that the devil could be real, lol." So yeah, I have a long road ahead, and if there's any chance that she could start to see. The guys in the shop were funny as usual. The first impression was that the thing looked like a man in a wig. Ha 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 ha. So this is it. It's nothing special, just circus doing circus things. This email was long enough. I won't take up too much of your time. But no, thank you. I really appreciate you sharing this with me, okay? I really do. So I'm just going to open up on the screen now and share with you guys what I see and what these posters are for the new show. And as you will see, it's very, well, just demonic. Just plain up demonic. So here we go, screen share. I'll pop this up on screen. So these are the posters she's currently working on. Let's see if I can zoom in a bit more. There we go. Yeah, look at this thing. So this is, I don't know, some kind of red and white entity in some kind of strange void. All the colours of Satanism are there anyway, and it's a pale-skinned... It's like a DMT jester. Very similar to a DMT jester, I would say. A being made of form and light. And then this other one. This is the one they've decided to go for, which shows a red-haired, pale-skinned person holding a glowing cube in the sky. So is this kind of like it's supposed to be an angel? I think it's definitely supposed to represent a disembodied ethereal spirit, simply because her skin has clouds painted on it, as though she's a part of the background. So symbolically speaking, I think this is probably saying this is a disembodied entity of a Nephilim spirit, trapped within a light matrix or a cube, perhaps, I don't know. But yeah, definitely on the nose with that one. But this is the one that got removed because everyone complained it was too demonic. This one right here. Look at this. Look at the Baphomet. Front and centre. And you've got in the background as well a bull-headed person and a horse-headed person. So again, a reference to the hybrid beings just before the flood, the mixing of kinds, which are now trapped in the fractal matrix along with the Nephilim gods they worshipped. But also we've got Baal, the bull god, or possible fallen angel or demon that was worshipped even after the flood, many times. Maybe the half human, half horse segment there is to the centaurs, or I think they were called centaurs, weren't they? The half human, half horse men, just like the constellation Sagittarius. But look at this thing. Look at this Baphomet right in the corner doing the as above, so below symbol with its arms, very on the nose Satanism, like blatantly on the nose satanic symbolism in this Cirque du Soleil show. Now, I think it's pertinent to keep talking about the Cirque du Soleil because coincidentally, the same month, someone else sent me an image, John Smitty here, and he showed me this image saying, I saw the black and white fractal lines and thought of you. And here's to their show O by Cirque du Soleil. Okay, this is a water-themed show that Cirque du Soleil do, and they have these entities, which I think are supposed to be fish people, I don't know. But if we bring it up here, they look like this, which is very on the nose. The black and white fractal design pattern, something we've mentioned many times on this show and shown to be a recurring theme. A lot of even tribal people do this themselves. Think of the sacred clowns of the Hopi Kachina as well, and things like that. But you just look at these things, and they're definitely supposed to represent beings coming out of the abyss, beings coming out of the sea. And that there's these other characters in this as well. If I can find them somewhere, they'll appear eventually. Here they are, these women who are in the water. And I thought it was interesting the way they made them look. It's really disturbing. If we get a better image here, like this one. But they have this white skin, big dead black eye look, long red hair. So all the Nephilim features are there. Pale white skin, long red hair, big bulging, beading, grey alien looking eyes, And they're coming out of the water or the abyss. And I think these are also representative of sirens. And it's possible, that sirens, because they are fish beings, survive the flood of Noah. And this is them rising once more out of the sea to influence the modern day, I don't know what it is, but this O is definitely full of it. It's definitely a reference to Nephilim surviving the flood. I think that's what this is all really about. And these are just examples of human fish hybrids, the ones who made it to the other side, Yeah, definitely. And also, they could represent disembodied spirits on the other side. The sea could represent the spiritual realm, symbolically. But the sea also, biblically speaking, is a symbol for the masses or the nations of people. and coming out of the nations of people, or the sea is this hybrid demonic being, perhaps. So I don't know. I don't know exactly what it is. But here you see some of the actors dressed like it, you know. Psychedelic looking things. Trippy looking things. Cirque du Soleil, or the Circus of the sun worshipping circus, is full of it. Right? They are absolutely full of satanic symbolism. And as we just saw in that email I just shared with you there, you know, they're even trying to put it on the posters to advertise now that, yeah, we're satanic. Everything we do is all based on Luciferianism and the worship of the Nephilim, you know. Yeah, so thanks for those emails, guys. That was definitely fun to see, and I think it was nice synchronicity, or there coincidence, should we say, that you guys decided to send it the same month about the same show. So while I was doing some research and trying to figure out, why do people think it's okay to show the clowns, you know, to children? And I found this funny article here from Reuters. It's really short. It's just by Reuters staff, so it's no specific like thing. And it's from 2008. So this is a long time ago this article was made, okay? A very long time ago. This is before the clown sightings. This is before my theory came up, or anyone even mentioned this. But someone just said here, bad news for Coco and Blinko. Children don't like clowns, and even older kids are scared of them. The news that will no doubt have clowns shedding tears was revealed in a poll of youngsters by researchers from the University of Sheffield, who are examining how to improve the decor of hospitals' children's wards. The study, reported in the Nursing Standards magazine, it found that 250 patients, aged between 4 and 16, when quizzed, disliked the use of the clown, with even older ones finding them scary. And in quotes it says, as adults we make assumptions about what works for children, says Penny Curtis, a senior lecturer in the research of the university. We found that clowns are universally disliked by children. Some of them quite frightening and unknowable. So, I think it's quite funny that, you know, they always put clowns in hospitals. There's always clowns. The Shriners dress like clowns and come and visit dying children in hospital. I mean, if the poor kids haven't already got enough on the plate, they're going to get traumatized before they die as well from a bloody clown. But it turns out studies have been done. It's like, why are we doing this? Children hate clowns. There's absolutely no evidence that children enjoy the sight of a clown whatsoever. In fact, all our evidence proves that children hate clowns. And they think they are terrifying. And it's just this stupid idea that I think as adults we just make assumptions about what works for children. We just got it wrong. And it's kind of like, so they are just stupid. It's not that they're evil, they're just idiots. Like, they don't care that the child's screaming. It's like, nah, I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure they like it really, you know. It's like, oh my God. So I thought that was a funny article. And then it went on, and I discovered something just on a tangent. I'll get to it in a minute, but there's this other article, and it turns out that so they have these thing called elder clowns that work with seniors to apparently help improve memory and communication. So I could read all this, but I'm just going to summarize for you the gist of it, basically. You can find this for yourself. Just type in clowns used to help with Alzheimer's and stuff like that. But they found that when clowns worked with the elderly in homes, it helped the elderly stay grounded in the now and not give in to their Alzheimer's. It seems like the levity, the fun, the entertainment, and the conversations and stuff like that of a resident clown, so a funny person who stays around, kind of helps jog some kind of childhood memory in the elderly, which makes them kind of stay with reality for a bit longer than usual and not lose their memory as quickly as they normally would, no suffering from severe Alzheimer's and things like that. Which is interesting. And this study basically goes on to explain how they found that having these thing called familial clowns, you know, so in 2002, clown doctors began seeing people with dementia on the complex continuing care floor of the Windsor Regional Hospital. It quickly became clear how effective the clown's unique interactions were in helping to improve the quality of life, not only for the seniors living with dementia, but also for their families who help meet their daily needs. As a result of the initial successes, a decision was made to pursue more opportunities to work with seniors in a wide range of healthcare facilities, particularly patients and residents with dementia. The Familial Clown program was first implemented in 2003 as a pilot project at an assisted living facility. This pilot program found that some changes needed to be made to traditional clown doctor work. It was decided to discard the persona of a doctor because, unlike hospitals, in this environment, doctors are not a typical fixture, and their presence was alarming rather than expected. As a result, these clowns who came dressed as doctors to old folks' homes terrified the old people because they thought a doctor would come to tell them they were dying. So they said, okay, well, let's not let them dress up like doctors then. So as a result, the clown doctor's medical shtick was toned down, and the costumes and characters became softer and familial clowns were born. These changes were inspired in part by Magdalena Schamberger's visit to the Windsor Hospital in September 2003. Where, blah, 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 she said, they're going to have different, yeah, whatever. It basically explains the difference between familial clowns and clown doctors. I can't even believe this is the conversation I'm having with you guys right now. The more I read it, the more I'm thinking we really are living in a mad world. But anyway, they found that really old people seem to be okay with clowns being around. And in fact, it helped kind of maintain like a connection with reality more so than they normally would, while these people were just around, just talking to them and having fun with them and having a laugh with them, you know, and being silly with them and being childlike and fanciful and wonderful around them. And they kind of stuck around the home for the day, you know, they were there regularly type of thing. And they found that people with Alzheimer's were remembering the clown. It's like, oh, you know, you should come more often. People like it when you're here. And it's kind of like, oh, where's the clown today? You know, it's like they remembered that the clown's missing when normally they don't even remember what day it is, you know. So that's just interesting. Like it says, I remember you. Who's your friend, you know? Staff reported that residents remembered the clowns even when they didn't remember what day it was or where they were living. You know, it's as it says here. And the most surprisingly recognised when a regular clown was not there. It gives residents something to look forward to. They take time to get to know the residents personally. You know, they listen to their stories, complaints, and happiness. They communicate through music. You know, and the family gets involved. They spark creativity and imagination. You know, they keep things fresh and fun for the residents, smiling and friendliness. You know, so they reviewed the research, and it turns out, in conclusion, Fools for Health's familial clowns represents but one shining moment in the development of the compassion and playful landscape of clown work with seniors. The work and research associated with it presented some very interesting information and brought sunshine into the lives of hundreds of residents, their families, and the care staff who work with them. Or as Michael Christensen likes to say, made rooms and facilities sparkle and shine. This work continues to develop and evolve. Clown programs, in all their many permutations, continue to bring smiles and laughter to the lives of seniors around the world. In the process, they may help improve the quality of life, enhance communications between seniors, their families and staff, and in some cases, help bring back long-forgotten memories. Then there's like a disclaimer saying it does not cure Alzheimer's. But fair enough, you know, these people are helping elderly remember things. That's nice. I don't think their intentions are bad. Why I want to use this as an example to explain that there's something about that generation of people, the elderly who are in these homes, especially 20 years ago, you know, who may have been around in the 1920s, you know, and the 1930s when all this was kind of a thing, when these images I showed you earlier were prominent. They seem to see clowns differently to we do. Like, they do consider them something fun and innocent and harmless. They don't see the hideous nature behind them. And I think it's interesting that it works for the elderly. And I think it might be very interesting to see how this works in the 50 years' time when the elderly are a different demographic of people. I don't think they'll be so receptive to it, you know. But this particular generation who are in their 80s, you know, so this is in the year 2002, these people are in their 80s, You know, that means that they were alive during the 20s and 30s when all these clowns were around that look so hideous. And it's kind of, it helps them. It takes them back to a time when they were children surrounded by these beings, you know. So I thought that was just an interesting thing to add to it all. That this was even a thing. This even happens, you know, clowns in elderly homes specifically to help with Alzheimer's. And then on another tangent, this is the last thing I'm going to share with you guys. There's this clown called Wrinkles the Clown. I don't know if you've heard of this guy. Maybe you've seen this image of him. I don't know. Let me just make sure everything's all good for you guys. See, yep, you can see my screen. My volume's still coming through. Let me just get the chat up quickly so I can see you guys are still there. Yep, you guys are still there chatting away, as you can see. Looking at this, you know, Wrinkles the Clown is a 2019 American documentary comedy horror film. The film follows a man known as Wrinkles the Clown who lives in Naples, Florida. For a fee of a few $100s, he will attend birthdays, scare misbehaving children, and prank people. And this is a documentary basically based on this guy. Okay, right, so here's an article written about him. Alright, this is I think this gives you the overall view of it, okay? So, Wrinkles' real face hang on, I've gone too far. So this horrible old wrinkly face demon-looking clown thing, okay? Desperate parents in Naples, Florida have a new weapon in their arsenal for reining in misbehaving kids. His name is Wrinkles, and he's a creepy-looking clown who has been spotted at gatherings in public and outside people's homes for the past few years. Wrinkles' real face remains hidden beneath a distinctive mask with large black eye holes and receding white hair. He favours a polka dot onesie with rubber gloves, and he's rarely seen without a whatever that is. A bundle of colourful balloons. That's a bad typo from them, isn't it? There, what is going on? A bundle of colourful balloons in one hand. A slight paunch gives him the unnerving appearance of a menacing man-sized baby who lurks in sewers and children's closets. There we go. So it's creepy-looking clown. For a few $100 cash, he told the Washington Post, he'll make an appearance at your party or gathering, prank your friend, or even scare your misbehaving kid straight, as he has recently hired to do by one mother looking for a way to reform her troublemaking 12-year-old. He was scared of clowns, and I showed up across the street from him at a bus stop, and he just started crying in front of his friends and ran home, Wrinkles told the Post. Somewhat remorsefully in his heavy New England accent, his mother called back a few days later and said, "Thank you." Now when he acts bad, she just asks him, "Do you want Wrinkles to come back?" Wrinkles declined to give his real name, but he's a 65-year-old Rhode Island transplant and military veteran who worked various jobs throughout his career before retiring a few years ago. He's divorced, without family ties, and moved to Florida about 5 years ago to escape the cold New England winters and settle into a more relaxed life, he said. After his arrival, he noticed that other people his age were playing golf and shuffleboard and hanging out at country clubs. But Wrinkles said being a boring retiree just wasn't him. Instead, he ordered a clown mask online, created some business cards and stickers advertising his phone number, and began to indulge in his lifelong appreciation for clowning. Over the next few years, his legend grew as Florida teenagers shared Wrinkles' sightings on social media. Now he receives hundreds of phone calls a day. It's fun, he said. You get to be someone else. You get some people who are petrified and some people who want you to come home with them. For Wrinkles lovers, his appeal is partly a result of his terrible attitude. Unlike nice clowns who cater to children, though I've yet to meet any nice clown, Wrinkles isn't particularly fond of young people and gets bored making stupid little animal balloons, he said. In a world sanitized by glossy reality television shows and helicopter parents who obsess over their kids' feelings, Wrinkles considers himself a remnant of a forgotten past. So this is an old man who lived probably during the times when all these horrific clowns were everywhere, and he considers what he does a remnant of a forgotten past. And he says, I'm just a good old-fashioned clown. When I was a kid, it was okay to scare kids, and now they're all whiny and scared. I want to bring scary back, he said. So I just thought that quote was funny. You know, I'm a good old-fashioned clown. When I was a kid, it was alright just to scare the shit out of your children with a clown, but now they're all being little bitches about it. It's basically what he said there. And yet sometimes scary comes to him, he noted. Wrinkles said he has received requests from people to help dump her body and regularly receives explicit requests to engage in lurid behaviour. He always declines. He said, noting that he accepts only cash and entertains serious requests for his services. Right now, he said, he's booked through January. I've got a woman calling me all the time, he said. Young ones, too. Like weird goths with chains and stuff. I've had enough psycho women in my life already. That's why I'm divorced. Instead of dumping a body or helping people out with their strange fantasies, Wrinkles said, he'd prefer to get hired to stand awkwardly in the corner at your bar mitzvah. I may be 65, but I can still cut a rug, he said. And that's the end of the article. So yeah, Wrinkles the Clown. A documentary's been made about him. I think it grossed $14,000. So it wasn't a big documentary. It wasn't anything major. But there was a phenomena where he'd recorded videos of him scaring children by coming out from underneath their bed. But it was all actors. It was all just an act, basically. It's saying here it's all just a part of one giant art piece, some kind of performative art piece or something, I don't know. And funnily enough, this guy got famous before the clown sightings, like 2015 period. So, you know, this was before people started dressing up like clowns to scare people en masse. Just weird, bizarre. And I just thought his attitude is funny. This 65-year-old man's like, you know, he's just a remnant of a forgotten past. You know, I'm just a good old-fashioned clown. You know, when I was a kid, it was okay to scare kids, and now they're all just whiny and scared. So I just, that quote, it just, maybe a link to why people thought it was acceptable to dress like this in front of children like 100 years ago. You know, and not think it was going to scare the hell out of them. It's just funny. Anyway, I'm going to switch the screen back here. I'm going to jump into the chat, see what you guys are saying. Let's get a little slideshow going. There we go, my slideshow's playing in the background. Excellent. I'm going to get the chat up, see what you guys are saying, and then open it up to any questions, and then I might have to call it a night, guys. So let's just see what's going on. I've got 62 people here right now, 58 people. That's great. Let's just bring the chat up. There we go. Right, let's see if I can't catch up with this. I'm going to have to do a lot of scrolling. Give me a second. Looks like you guys have been busy. Right, there we go. Why is this AI art so realistic? What the hell? Yeah, I know, it's terrifying what can be done these days. Elusive Truth has seen videos of a human meat factory slaughterhouse. Well, that sounds absolutely awful. Paul, would you please share your link to your Telegram channel? Search function here does not work for me, as I know it's also true for many others. I haven't been able to find you. I think the link to my Telegram is in this video description. If you go to the description of the video you're currently watching, I'm pretty sure I have Telegram in there. Let me know if that's not the case, and I will add it after this show. Yeah. If not, go on one of my recent videos, one that isn't a live show, my most recent video, and I'm sure I've pasted it into there. One of them anyway. The link's definitely in the description of most of my most recent videos. If not this one, it's because I did use a template from my old videos. It might not be. It should be there though. I think it should be there. So just double check. If not, I will add it though. How is knowing the scripted narrative is a lie called spamming? So as long as you breathe the narrative, you choose it's okay. No, I'm not doing that, Mark. That's not what I'm doing here. It's just that you're talking about some kind of King Charles being Jesus, and it's kind of like I'm not getting into that. So whatever. Like, that's clearly some kind of thing you're heavily into that you think is the most important thing in the world that everyone else should know. and you're spamming it in the chat here. From what you've just said to me there, I don't think what you're saying is true. I disagree. I'm allowed. And you know what? It's my chat. I can do what I want. I'm just gonna say it. If I were a betting woman, my money would be on Team Humanity. Yeah. Dan Guy missed it, says Kanga Kong. Thanks for being here though. But yeah, you missed a good one. It was a good show. Pull it back and have a listen though, of course. Lincoln Beard, right? Yep. A lot of people don't get notifications for this channel. I've been told quite a lot over the past month that people are not getting notified. They have to physically search for my channel to get any videos recommended to them. I did do a video recently about the old lines in the sky, and I think that may have it got a lot of views. People liked that I was talking about it, but I know it's risky, and that probably put me even deeper under the shadow banning, that I've dared to cross that line again. But I'm going to do more videos actually on these old topics that we've not forgot about, but have kind of just got buried under a pile of new stuff, that has come along and got our attention over the years. What is the Loab thing? Do you have images? I don't, Desert Trance. No, actually I don't. It just came to the top of my head while I was speaking. But if you just type in Loab or Loab, L-O-A-B, and AI, you'll find that there's this hideous looking woman that appears in a lot of people's AI generations. It's like a recurring face, and it's really disturbing, but it's like a cryptid. It's like a strange entity that keeps popping up over and over again. You can just Google it and find it, but I don't have any images right now, unfortunately. Hybrid beings coming through the portal. Yep, that's a portal. So talking about there, I think. People were stupid. It's similar to people who watch Big Bang Theory and need a laugh track to tell them if something is funny. Yeah, I mean, that being said, I have watched Big Bang Theory a lot. We have it on in the background just because it's a noise sometimes. My wife likes watching it, and in terms of acting and comedy, it's all right. But I don't really buy much of it, I don't buy into what it's trying to sell to me, of course. I see through it all, but the characters are funny. But yeah, I know what you mean by the whole laugh track thing, and it's not my style. I do like comedies that can be funny without a laugh track. The Office is a good example of that. Nephilim Mermaid, yep, that's what I believed. The O looks like a portal, yep. Creepy, marine spirits, that's right. AI does add 6 fingers on a lot of images. Maybe it's a way of subtly normalizing and guiding in the Nephilim beings who are known to have 6 fingers, that's right. I think King Og of Bashan's brother was described as having 6 fingers and 6 toes. I'm currently writing about all of that now in my book, and the final Nephilim getting completely wiped out. It was Goliath's brother, who had 6 fingers and 6 toes. But yeah, I'm currently writing about the David wiping out the last of the Philistine kings, of the Avites who dwelled with the Philistines and everything, and hopefully then I've boxed off chapter 9 of my book about the last of the Nephilim being wiped out and the possible surviving remnants around the world. And then I can talk about demons and how they wander in dry places and how they are now spirits. And then that's section 1 done. That's 10 chapters written. And then I can get on to the clown stuff. But anyway, I'm not going to bore you with that today. I'll save that for another time. But yeah, I've been busy writing this week, and it's been a book heavy week for me trying to get all this down. Familial clowns is too close to familiar spirits for me to ignore. That's what I thought. The phrase familial clown. There's something weird about it, isn't it? It doesn't sit right with me. I don't care if they're trying to sell it as something good. Something just doesn't sit right with me about that. It's a weird one. They love painting Disney crap in children's wards. Sadly, children go for that as opposed to this clown stuff. Well, I suppose it's better than the clown stuff, but none of it's good. I suppose it's all dark. Let's have a quick drink of water, guys. Sorry. Right, I'm back. Something about a menorah there. This is David McGann. Thanks for being here. Trying to catch up with the chat. Send in the clown lawyers. Time to change the will. Yeah. The chat just did some huge jump for me. So now I don't know where I'm up to. We've got Miss Tomato. Texas Mama Bear. We're having a little conversation there. Sorry, guys. Got Dead Eyes, Panda Eyes. Oh no, his eyes are gone. That's right, yeah. That last clown, Mr. Wrinkles, was a weird one. Hopefully no tech glitches. KJ Osborne rocks. Yeah, KJ's a cool guy. I've not watched much of his videos recently, actually. He moved over to, I think, did he move over to BitChute or Rumble? And I think he posts stuff on his website as well. Yeah, I used to follow him years ago when I first started. No way I would subject my child to that creepy clown, or any clown for that matter. No, the fact that parents pay to scare the wits out of their children with this demonic looking clown. And this guy who dresses like this clown is like, yes, that's what I live for, scaring children. You're like, who is this? Clearly he hasn't got any children of his own. At least I hope he doesn't. What if Wrinkles the Clown met Richie the Barber? Yeah. It wouldn't surprise me if they did do a meetup and had a thing for his YouTube channel. It wouldn't surprise me. And I'm sure he'd make hundreds of little shorts from it too. Fiona, I'm surprised one of my brothers hasn't sent Wrinkles to the other one's house as a prank. I'm definitely not telling him about it there. I wouldn't. Just requested an ad on the Telegram channel, says Pat. Let me just check the Telegram. Yeah, guys, if you are interested, I do have a Telegram now where you can all keep talking after the show. Keep the conversation going, you know, share with each other all your thoughts and theories on the stuff we discuss here. I'm also there for you guys to contact me or send me anything you find interesting. Patrick, I have just added you to the group now. So you should be able to do whatever you want and catch up with what's been said on there. But we do have a nice little discussion on there about all sorts of things. There is a rule at the top, a small pinned at the top that you need to read. Rule number 1 is that this is not a place to spam random stuff without any context. If you do post something, I need you to give a description of why you're posting it and what you want us to get from the information. You know, it's not a place to be cryptic and make people guess what you mean. Never assume that people instantly know what you're talking about, okay? So if you do post anything, you need to explain why you're posting it, what you want us to understand from it. Okay, I do not like making people interpret stuff unnecessarily, okay? I don't think it's fair. And also, if you do join, just a random thing I'm doing for research, just open up by saying what year you woke up, in quotes, and that's not a leftist term, you know. Remember back in the day when I started conspiracy research, woke people or awake people were people who knew the truth about conspiracy stuff. None of this leftist liberal nonsense, okay? But tell me what year you started to open your eyes to the truth, and what topic was it that brought you into it. That's just the opening thing to do when you join, okay? What year you woke up, and what was the thing that got you into all this, all right? So just for my sakes, I'd like to hear that. I'm trying to find out or make a list of all the things we've forgotten over the years that have happened, you know, and hopefully maybe someone out there can share with me something that would I've forgotten about myself. My list is getting quite long. I'm going to make little videos about them in my car, as you guys seem to be enjoying lately. I'll be making little videos about them here and there. Just discussing each of these topics, you know, that we've forgotten. Maybe I can get on quickly up for you now, and I'll share with you a few of them that you may have already forgot over time. But yeah, so people on the Telegram have been helping me out with that, reminding me of all sorts of things which I have pushed to the back of my mind. Because this is the problem, you know. You research so much, you can start to push out information you've learned as you put new information in. And obviously that's no good at all, is it? What have I got here? Here's my list. Right, so what I've got here is, let me just... I've tried to put it in some kind of time order, but it's hard to remember when all these things happened. I know they happened at some point, but I can't remember when. And these are things that became big on YouTube and everyone was following one after the other, alright? So these are the few of the topics. I've already done chemtrails. 9/11 is a big one for a lot of people, and so are the 7/7 bombings, but that's going really far back. I'm talking over like maybe the past decade and a half, okay? And what we had was the end of the world, 2012, which came with it things like the end of the Mayan calendar, the Nibiru or Planet X or Wormwood was returning back into our solar system, or the magnetic poles were about to shift, or a meteor was about to strike us or something, and there was videos everywhere where the background music was that epic Requiem for a Dream soundtrack, you know, that showed meteors smashing into the ocean, causing huge tidal waves, and it was like, da-da-da-da-dum, da-da-da-da-dum. You all remember. If you were around, you remember those videos, all right? They were everywhere. And then there was the Chublinks meteor, do you remember that? That was maybe like, 7 years ago now? Where a giant meteor went over Russia and blew out all the windows, and that was a big thing. Everyone was obsessed with iPet Goat 2 for a while. Do you remember that animation? That was just loaded with symbolism. People were using it to predict what's coming in the future and all sorts of stuff, but it was all a lot of New Age nonsense. And then there was the rise of the whistleblowers, you know, people talking about Bohemian Grove as well and things like that. I think, what was his name? That guy who released a load of government documents as well. I blanked it right now, I can't remember. I'm sure you'll all know I'm talking. Snowden, was it Snowden? Yeah. Then there's things like predictive programming was a big deal. People were talking about CERN. Then there was loads of theories about the coming rapture constantly. People were always pushing the date forward for a long time. No, it's not happening this year, it's happening next year. And everyone had the time and date figured out through some crazy numerological math system they'd figured out. There's a lot of stuff about alien disclosure. What was his name? Was it Steve Quayle? Steve something, and he was going on about disclosure all the time, the Disclosure Project. And then there was that whole stuff rose up about Project Bluebeam and the fake alien invasion. For a short time, everyone was going about crop circles and ley lines and megalithic structures and video capturing orbs flying around, you know, and strange lights and loud sounds bellowing in the sky. There was the Norway spiral. There was the Phoenix Lights incident. You know, there's a time period around like 2011 to 2014 where that was all the rage. All that stuff was all anybody could care about and follow. And it was a similar time, maybe a bit earlier. I think it was 2008 this one came out, but Zeitgeist was really big as well, especially in the New Age truther culture. And everyone was going on about all the religions are just the same thing, talking about the same thing, and even Christianity is just another religion that's a copy of all the other ones, and it's been proven wrong many times now that Zeitgeist is just full of shit. But yeah, that was big for a long time. That definitely shook a lot of people's faith unnecessarily because it was all bollocks, and it definitely really strengthened the New Age group of truthers, you know, the consciousness people. Then obviously there was a big culture about DMT and psychedelic consciousness expansion that became popular quickly. There was the rise of the New Age truthers, the Palladians theories, the Indigo Children, all the numerology obsession with 1111 and the Kundalini awakening and ascending to the fifth dimension stuff was everywhere. You know, and nowadays it's not so much, but it was huge once. You know, and then there was the other side where everyone was the Antichrist, and everyone was always pointing to who the Antichrist was. There was loads of videos about that for a long time. There was a big obsession over the Georgia Guidestones as well. They were everywhere, but now they've been destroyed, I believe. Someone blew it up, which is quite interesting. The Denver Airport mural, anyone remember that one? And the giant horse outside the Denver Airport as well. And then there's the whole Illuminati music industry was quite big in the beginning. You know, we had Club 23, all the stars being sacrificed at an early age. transhumanism agenda and black goo and programmable matter, and the 2045 agenda was everywhere. Then there was all these other random little events that happened, like bath salt zombies. Ever remember the bath salt zombie issue? This drug that was turning people into zombies. And then at the same time, everyone was saying that there were things called Ebola zombies. And then and there was this moment in time where they were trying to like convince us, or it seemed like the truther movement was convinced that a zombie apocalypse was about to happen. And they were showing in the media like people who had Ebola were dying and coming back as zombies or something. And then these people who were taking this drug were acting like zombies and not going down when they got shot and all this sort of stuff. And really, it was demonic possession more likely, But I remember that. And there was that guy under a bridge in Florida, wasn't there, who was naked. And the police had to put 6 bullets in his chest to knock him down. He just kept coming at them or something. Yeah, that was a crazy time. And then obviously there was the rise of the Mark of the Beast theories, contactless payment, the RFID chip, the black goo, programmable matter stuff. Then there was just a sudden rise out of nowhere of mass shootings and school shootings. Then there was the rise of the false flag hoaxes and the crisis actor phenomena. And then there was the Hegelian dialectic was getting popular in the talks, and the rise of the political left and right started to appear. Then we had the whole anonymous movement and we are the 1% and we are legion crap happening. Then they had the extreme left rising with identity politics in the past 5-6 years. Then we have massive divides through elections, and extreme censorship started to happen online of political opinions and of also truther channels. There was hysteria over Trump 2016. Then there was more bombings and terrorist bombings happening all over Europe. Do you remember that a plane went missing, a Malaysia aeroplane? And then there was also a crash of a plane going into a motorway in Malaysia as well. There was the rise and fall of ISIS randomly. There was Brexit. There was the Grenfell Tower incident. Earthquakes and floods non-stop happening all over the earth. Churches started to set on fire like the Notre Dame. And then suddenly the rise of social media started to happen, and we had random TikTok trends and rituals like the Ice Bucket Challenge, and we had things like Pokemon Go where people were dying because they weren't paying attention to reality enough and walking into traffic and stuff. Then we had things like satanic child trafficker videos being released. We had the Mandela effect turn up randomly one year, and that blew up and everyone was obsessed with it for 2 years straight. And then we had the Transvestigation group. We had the Pizzagate stuff happening as well. We had the whole adrenochrome stuff tied into that with spirit cooking. And there was this whole other subgenre of people talking about gang stalking and frequency weapons and all that kind of stuff. We had someone else talking about cloning centers. We had the whole rise of the huge flat earth movement happen randomly at one point. We had that video release that everyone was completely obsessed with called No Forest on Flat Earth. Then Tartaria, the millennial reign of Christ, coronavirus, lockdown, the rise of AI. A lot has happened. That's just in the past 10 years. So much has happened that we have learnt about and become aware of. But there's just so much going on, all these events that distract us so often that we it's easy to forget all this happened. And that there's all this stuff we could remember that we have learnt, lessons we have already learnt. And I want to make videos about each of these topics, basically, just recapping on the event. Just to give you a refresher of, do you remember this? And I'm just going to call it Remember Whatever, the subject. I've done one called Remember Chemtrails. And I always get this, a few people have made the same response. Remember, how can I forget? And they go off and explain how important that topic is. And it's funny, it's just funny because I'm not saying you've forgotten. I'm just saying, don't forget. I don't know, it's funny. But what do you think of that list? Have I missed anything? I'm sure you guys have probably left some comments about the things I've missed there, but that's a lot of stuff, isn't it? We're talking, I don't know, I've got a lot of stuff coming through. I will put it in my about page for you there, Morgan Jade. Yeah, sorry about that. You can search Understanding Conspiracy on Telegram, and I will be there. And you can just put a request to join the channel. But I'll leave links in this video at the end, so you can go there and join. If anyone's listening after this, the link should be there. 9/11 will get you banned. Yep, a lot of Israel activity. You guys are all popping off. The Illuminati card game. Yeah, thanks for reminding me of that one. I'll write that one down. You're right, yeah. That's definitely one to remember. The card game. Everyone was obsessed with that for a short while as well, weren't they? Yeah. Right, I've written that one down. Thanks for the tip there, Humble Stranger. I appreciate that. Consciousness is such a scam, so ambiguous, the lie of the self-ascension, as old as the adversary himself. Exactly why I dino, yeah. But, there was a time during like the 2013-14 period where a lot of people were into that. And the truth movement was split between the New Agers and the Christians. And those New Agers have all grown up a bit now. And now they're all Gnostics. That's basically what happened over the past decade. They became Gnostics. And they couldn't go for the Christian stuff because there's something inside of them that has not let them cross that line in their mind. They want to believe themselves to be wise, so they've all become alchemists, and have all gone down the Gnostic route. And they'll get to Christ eventually. But right now they want to feel really intelligent and good about themselves, so they're sticking to all the Gnostic stuff. But they all come from the New Ages of like 10 years ago. That's what happened to them. And now the Truth movement is split between the Gnostics and the Christians again. But it used to be the New Age and the Christians, and the Gnostics were like a sect, a very small sect that didn't make much noise back in the day. And now it's gone down this. Now they're everywhere. Anything but Jesus is basically the result. That is a ton of stuff. It is, isn't it? It's a lot of stuff. I love the Paul is dead theory. Yeah, I've heard that one before. It's an old one though, isn't it? I don't want to go back in time to like the JFK stuff and all that. I want to keep it relatively in the last 10 years. Telegram search doesn't work. I can only get results from my chats. But yeah, sorry, I will put the link in. It's difficult to do here. Where I am currently right now, it's not an easy thing to do, but let me just see if I can sort this out. Because it's live right now, I'm not sure I can even edit the video, to be honest, that I'm currently doing. But I will put it in the chat for you guys. If you want to join the Telegram, the link will be in the chat at the end of this. I'll put it in. That's for sure. Right, guys. Anyway, I'm going to call it a night. I've gone on for 2 hours now almost. I've got 3 minutes left. Just to summarise, good chat today. 33rd episode. I'll definitely be back next week with another live, as per usual. I don't know what the topic is going to be. It usually just comes to me. But I'm sure it'll be a good one. I'm going to do many more of these random little 10-minute talks in my car about random stuff. I know you guys have enjoyed that throughout the week, and it's quick and easy for me to do. Every Wednesday, as usual, I do try and make a more refined video. I don't always just add to the Nephilim Look Like Clown series. Sometimes I'll make on another topic, depending what it is. But this week, I probably will do one on the glass clowns. It's something I've kind of been mulling over for a little bit. A quick one, anyway. But in between, I will do the odd video here and there. I will keep updating people on my book. If you're a member of Patreon, for $5 a month, you do get access to an extra video every Friday. I have uploaded that one. There's now 5 videos on there, which is Patreon only. $5 minimum. If the best way to support me, guys, is to sign up for Patreon. A monthly donation goes a long way, and it's good to know that I have some regular income coming in there, obviously. So if you would like to support me in the channel, then please consider signing up to Patreon. I will make it worth your while. Like I said, there is content on there for yourself, and I do give regular updates on my book and postings there of things I've written, and also just random updates as well. So there's for Patreon, link down below. Also, if you want to support the book, you can always go to the GoFundMe link down below. It's a work in progress, but I'm making good progress. Like I said, I'm on to chapter 10 of a mapped out 36 chapters. So I'm almost a third of the way through, which is good progress for 3 months worth of writing, I think. And this is the first draft stuff, obviously, and I'm sharing with you guys regularly. But if you want to share, support the book for the Nephilim Look Like Clowns, the links are down below. £100 donation, so that's $125, depending on what the conversion rate is these days. I know it's not doing too well in America for the pound to the dollar, but roughly about $125 will get you a free signed copy of the book once it's published and printed. I will personally sign the book and send it to your address. I will contact you for shipping information closer to the time. But that's the best pre-order system I've got, a $100 donation on the GoFundMe. So that's Patreon and GoFundMe. Like I said, I do have an extra thing now, the Telegram, linked down below. But you can also find Understanding Conspiracy on Telegram and join the group. It's a great way to keep the conversation going, guys. So I hope to see you all on there. We have 44 members last I checked, 45, which is a good number, and it's still growing. Other than that, I have nothing else to share with you guys today. I think I've said it all. I'm going to leave it there. Thanks for listening, everyone. It's been a pleasure. And as always, God bless.